So guys, we got an extra 51 minutes here. See how they're screaming because I'm looking there. So I was telling you, see I'm looking over there, there's nothing over there, so the kid screams. I was telling you, see the boat motor went away now. Listen to how quiet and peaceful it is. I won't get this for long. Look at the squirrel on top of the garbage over there. He's gonna move now because I'm looking at it. Watch how it's gonna move, the squirrel. It's gonna keep moving. Watch, it's gonna keep moving. See that? How did I know that? Okay, look. He fell into the garbage bin. What kind of a squirrel falls into the garbage bin? You know what he's going to do now? Keep creating noise. So you see how this is unintentional. I don't know if squirrels go into garbage bins like that to get food. Maybe they do. I'm not a squirrel expert, but I'm becoming one through this ritual that's being performed on me on an every place basis. Anyways, guys, a lot of the stories here on TV are designed to be negative information to you. Fuck ants. This fucking thing, it's a spider. To be negative information intentionally. So you're watching the David Letterman show, and this guest comes on the show, right? This guest, and they say, "Oh, by the way, I'm violent." Look! The pigeon comes and lands in front of me. You see that? How they're attached to the chip? Look, to create movement. There's no movement, and they can't make a lot of noise over there because I'm exposing them on the phone. So it becomes the turn of these guys to create movement or stand in front of me, stick there. So I see things there, like objects or movement. So now I'm going to look that way. They're going to make noise. Look what they put here for me. A fake one. So even if I look that way, I get it. Look. Because it's probably hard to put things there. Now, if I get off this rock and go sit over there, all this movement and noise will follow me there. Let's go over there. I'm going to prove it to you. Come. So the idea, you see how when I stayed here long enough, how the noise went down? And you see how when I record a video and keep walking, how you keep seeing people interrupt me and come in my way and make noise? The way to beat this circular maze is to stay in the same place in every aspect of it in terms of irritation or to eventually beat it and come out of it. It is all about staying in the same place for long enough. Look, now they got a guy over there moving. Look. But I'm going to come here now. Now over here, we'll either get into the boat. I know. Look, listen. It just started. Listen. It was parked over there. You see? See how all the elements are connected? So let's look at this beautiful lake view here. At least we'll get a bit of peace for long enough until the ants eat us. Because the ants get released too. I don't know how this works, but usually there's always ants on trees anyway, so I'm not going to mention this much. Now there's noise and movement here from a bit of lake wave, but it's okay. So I'm going to get my butt eaten by ants. I'm going to have people coming moving here in the boat now soon. It doesn't matter. So now, guys, when you watch TV and shows like David Letterman and this guest comes on and they say, David's like, oh, so I heard you're doing some charity work. Yeah, what are you doing? She's like, oh yeah, I'm helping the victims of the Katrina disaster and this and that and whatever. We're not saying that she did it on purpose, or most likely David Letterman got it out of her on purpose. He knows how the system works. But we're not going to accuse anybody of anything here. Who are we to accuse people? What did she just do over there? Yes, she gave you some truth and that she's decent, but they reminded the audience of the Katrina disaster. Everyone who got affected of it or had someone there that got affected of it got reminded of a painful experience. The word the Katrina with the hurricane does not remind us of something positive. It's something negative. So it's all these elements being implemented on a very small level that you don't sense, but there's so many of them. Just like those people. If one guy paces in front of you and two people talk loud around you in one place and that's it, there's not much to talk about, not much to mention about it. But when it happens to you all day long, you see the difference? That's how negative information is vibrated to us through information and media. It's part of this ritualistic realm that keeps us depressed. Why do you think there's a lot of depression? A lot of people commit suicide. Look, the boat. Listen, I can hear the motor. Why? Why do you think you guys we have that today nowadays? Why do we get a lot of stories about the rich and famous, and so we can sit there and envy those lives and keep thinking inside the machine and get confused? And we need to get there. We have to figure out how and keep putting the effort to create that energy which comes from effort, and stay confused and get them to harvest it and keep us confused in the maze, because it doesn't take hard work to get to that life. You have to be connected. You have to be a part of this ritualistic realm. Why does Johnny Depp dresses so weird when he's on TV with these weird hats and glasses? And remember what I told you about my environment and weirdness? How it's a huge element to use in this ritualistic endeavor, because it distracts you, so the other weapons they're applying on you, they'll be more effective. You'll drop your armor when you're distracted. So it's a science that's being applied on us worldwide to harness our psychological and emotional energy and keep us drained and depleted and depressed and miserable, and a lot of other tactics. And they're using money to control us with, you name it, everything. It's a lot of things being implemented on us, guys, a lot, without us seeing them or noticing them, because they're minor, but there's too many of them. It's the amount that makes the difference for them. If you watch an hour on TV, or an hour and a half an hour David Letterman with negative news and weirdness and laughing and talking about sex and drugs, and then you watch a half an hour of Seinfeld with all the clapping and laughing, your ears are blown. 1 hour a day is enough. When you go to work, they get you stuck in rush hour on the way to work. When you get stuck in rush hour, waiting too, I forgot. Waiting is a huge part of this ritual. Waiting and waiting and waiting, it depletes you of energy, it frustrates you. It's frustrating. So when you wait to get home, wait to get back home, guys, rush hour is intentional. There ain't that many cars on the road. Why do you think they let off everybody off work at the same time? It's all by design. It's architected that way. So you get frustrated an hour before you get home. When you watch Seinfeld, the other guy, you get frustrated without knowing. So at the end of the day, it's a science to make you depressed. A lot of people get depressed, and a lot of people commit suicide nowadays. A lot of people go into drugs, but there are reasons for that. This is by design. It's not by chance, or it's your fault, or it's your genetic makeup, like they want to make you believe, and then they want to put you on pills that they make that make you worse and charge you for them to deplete you of your money. And they really entrap you into that circle then, that hexagon. That's the trap. You never heard the term someone put a hex on you? So, I'm giving you guys diamond information here today. Here, they don't have to worry, because these things, when the boats go back and forth, they create more waves and more noise for me, you see? The point of the boat passing by, I hear its engine, and it paces, and then I get this effect. So remember, in my environment so far, everything I've recorded, every place I go to, how certain elements get implemented to create constant noise and movement for me. And it's all automatic through my microchip. These people weren't sitting in the boat over there watching me the whole time. As soon as they saw me walk here, they started the boat. It doesn't work like that. It's instinctive. I really don't know how this technology works. It's mind tripping. And if I wasn't 100% sure of it, I would not have the guts to even mention it. Amazing. See how it got better now? Because a lake shouldn't do this. It's not ocean. It does that because of the boat. Now, by the time this fades away, we'll get another round of the boat to keep it going. Keep watching. Now that I said that, they will try to put something else to bother me now for a while, and then they'll do it again after. The person running the program, who's listening to me through the microchip and tap my phone, is listening to every word I'm saying and doing the impossible for me not to be able to prove to you how this machine works, or make me look like a liar or a crazy person. So this is what they're doing to us, guys. They're blaming it on us, so we feel guilty that it's our fault. It's our genetic makeup. We're depressed. And then they make us depend more on them by going on these drugs that they intentionally invented to make us worse and deplete us of our money and give us fake hope. And then we get disappointed again, and then we get more depressed, and poorer because we're spending money on these drugs and more addicted to the system. And then we fall into a spiral of huge depression, which leads to huge drug addiction, death, suicide, creating problems outside, fighting with people. Crazy guy shoots 20, those kind of stories. This is what they're doing to us. So all these crazy stories you hear, they're benefiting from them. It's like a circle of death. By dismantling you and making you listen to the negative stories of the guy they dismantled, they're dismantling everything. It's a dismantling circle that's being applied on us. It's a maze of torture. They're harvesting our mind effort and emotional effort that we're exerting. It's not physical slavery like back in the days. They're enslaving our emotions and our mind. It's a science to keep us depleted and depressed all the time. All right? Now, I'm not doing these. Look how quiet it is now and nice. I will not have this for long. Do you hear that? Ooh. I will not have this for long. I cannot possibly feel better. I'm being ritualized, for God's sakes. People ritualize you not to make you feel good, to abuse you and torture you. You get it? I even want to talk lower now in a more mature manner, not hypey like a little kid. Because when you feel tense, that's why you talk like that. That's why my voice is loud sometimes, or I talk in hypiness, because my surroundings are designed to make me that way. That's not the way I am. I'm actually one of the most matured. I barely talk. I only say things when I have to. And I'm subtle and matured. I don't act like this. But it's this torture that's turning me into this. See now, as soon as I came down, how I came down? This is what this surrounding does to you. Why the hell would a guy like me spend that much money and come up here and spend the day at the lake alone when he barely has money in his bank account? Spend all of it, $300 something just to come up here for one day, go back home. Why would he do that? Think about it. Why wouldn't he spend it on something better? I'm a smoker. Now I'm stuck without cigarettes for the rest of the month. It's only the 5th today. Why would I put myself in this predicament? Do you get it? It's what I'm going through, my torturous environment. So schizophrenia doesn't exist in us naturally. It's not in our genes or in our seeds as they want you to believe. It's our surroundings that are doing this to us, guys, worldwide. From schizophrenia to depression to suicide. It's all by design. So they can rule and stay relaxed on top and we stay tortured on the bottom. And in the process, they're getting rid of us in a covert, indirect way so they don't have to kill us physically and make it look obvious. Then a revolution would happen. So they're mind controlling us, brainwashing us to think that we're free. At the same time, we're in a maze, struggling, confused, exerting all this energy out. We're not getting anything in return and draining ourselves. Same thing. It's psychological and emotional slavery. It's murder and it's assassination. So the so-called free world is the so-called slavery world. It didn't change from the time they came here and killed those red Indians and took their stuff. Took their place. They just got sneakier and wiser in a bad way, not wiser. I don't like to use that word in this instance because wiser is a positive thing to be wise, not negative. Slicker, not wiser. So while they enjoy with their families boat vacations and places like these, you're sitting in a bachelor apartment downtown that's almost dirty and messy because you don't have time to fix it or clean it because you work 24/7 to support this child that you have custody over from an abusive father. Or but listen to that story and look at this story. Look at the difference. That's not because they're smarter than you. That's because they're part of an entity that helped them get there. And you're part of an entity that helped you go down, forced you to go down to get there. See, another round of the boat or a plane. There's a boat, another round, so I get the waves again. Look how good it is now. Watch this. It's the direction it's going. Oh, it turned around now. They didn't do it because they're listening to the phone, but it's going in circles to create this noise. So these people, they come here, they enjoy themselves, they ritualize my ass when I pass by them, and then they forget about me and I get ritualized by the others for a couple of minutes, and they get paid for it. I come up here, waste my money, get tortured, and I go back home. You see the difference? What kind of world they created for the talented and creative, And what kind of world they created for the incompetent and jealous and envious? That's how you turn things upside down. That's Satanism. I don't know if I should save these minutes for later, but if I do need something later, I'll record for you. Because if I don't talk and I chill out a bit, they're gonna attack me with noise. So I'm gonna keep recording and just chill out, pretend I'm not. So you can listen to the noise and movement. At least I could relax a bit. Not exerting effort, talking and explaining. Now we get the boat passing by again. I can't help it sometimes. It comes out natural, automatic. Now when I stop talking, you're gonna see more noise. You're gonna hear more noise. Because I'm not letting out energy when I don't talk. I'm conserving it. Listen to how the noise element's gonna increase. The boat again. Now look at this action, the boat. How did this guy know that I stopped talking in order to do that again? It's weird. Even the kids screaming. They're screaming louder. How did they know? So now if I lie down, it gets even worse because that means I'm more relaxed. Constant talking and noise. Constant screaming by the kids. Who can live like this? So by putting you through this the entire day, do you know what that does to you by the end of the day? This constant machine of noise around you. So you either have to go to places that nobody will be willing to go to, even if they're paid a high price. A war zone. Hey, listen to this junk. And especially when you use public places, you can't tell people to shut up because you're sharing it with them. It's not yours, it's not theirs. So the laws there, they'll apply of harassment. This is a form of harassment. This is why they toned down the machine. Because when it was really loud, it was purely harassment. Now this, they could get away with it. It's hard to, what are you going to do, call the cops? Say there's two sets of kids, one on this side, one on this side, talking loud around me for half an hour? And then what? And then, oh, they got replaced by the boat. And then they got replaced by the airplane. And then they got replaced by this because I'm microchipped. And that's what the microchip does. It was put into my eyes without my consent by this so-called doctor. Now, their usual cop will laugh at you and call you crazy and would want to admit you into a mental institution, even though he knows perfectly what you're saying and he knows it's true because he's on their side. He's a part of the bubble that you're surrounded with. He's applying the same ritual on you that they're doing. Because when you call the cop, he'll come late, make you wait. When he comes in, he'll cough. Then he'll start moving back and forth. Then he'll talk to you in a way either to make you worry, discredit you, scare you, belittle you, make fun of you, call you crazy. Same tactics. So he's applying an extra to the ritual. You call him to help you, he'll come in and abuse you even more. Now I decided to talk again because it's better than taking the abuse and not putting out something beneficial to me as giving out information. Even if I don't benefit from it directly, at least you guys, somebody else will. So I'm being sacrificed in a way. I'm being farmed heavily because of my special talents. If I wasn't this strong or this talented, then they wouldn't have done this to me. They would have just kept me with the outside world where they're taking a little bit of the machine, which is through the media, through regular society. But because they know I'm powerful enough to beat that and move forward, that's why they imprisoned me in a more intense bubble. They farmed me in a place that's intense and purely locked up and cut out from the real world. Because if I had right now with me a friend or a girlfriend or, I don't know, a kid, I'd be more occupied with him and I wouldn't sense my surroundings as much because we'd be more concentrated on something that we're doing. There's a warm connection between us and that evades all those icicles that they're throwing at us. Not fully, but half of it at least. So it helps, but that's the reason they don't want me to have that. You know what I mean? When you have a partner and you can open up to and talk to and share your problems with, and they understand, they back you up, and they give you confidence and self-esteem, and you can have sex with or whatever, all those elements are designed to get you to release tension and pressure, whether it's psychological, emotional, or physical. Now, to deprive someone of these things is also a part of the plan, a part of the ritual. It's a huge weakening element. It's a huge weakening tactic to deprive someone of those things covertly like that. Because if you're in prison, they're not allow you to meet real people or get a job. How are you going to make friends? How are you going to get a girlfriend? How are you going to buy a house? How are you going to buy a car in order to move around and avoid them while you're moving around? Because then most of the pressure that I get in the abuse, I won't get anymore. I'm not in public buses anymore. I'm not walking on the street. I go from my apartment straight to the garage, into my car to my destination, and I come back. I'll avoid all this abuse. So in order to make the machine more intense on me, they deprived me of that. And my brother had a lot to do with it, my so-called fake brother, to drain me of my license. Huge conspiracy was waged on it back in the days to deprive me of it. But what did I know? I didn't know any of this information. I was on heavy duty opiates that they introduced me to after they did this to me. So you see the chain, how it works, how they took me from this young and this beautiful, strong, perfectly healthy, fresh to the world being into this rotten entity that I had to do the impossible to come out of and get to this point where I am right now, while I'm still being imprisoned and tortured on a daily basis, but still keeping the hope in my mind and in my head to push forward because I'm confident enough and I know that I can beat them. And I've taken much worse shots than them, and I've had much worse times, and I've pulled through and moved forward. So this is only gonna delay me. If it delayed me when it was intense 50%, it's delaying me 10% now. That's all it will do. Delay me a tiny bit from getting to my goal. That's it. By frustrating me a little bit and making me waste a little bit more time and money. And all those three factors, if I was using them properly, I'd get to my goal much faster. And that's it, pretty much. Today, if this wasn't being done to me, I wouldn't have came up here and spent 300 something dollars to avoid a little bit of the same environment. Come up here for curious reasons that I wanted to find out certain things about the implementation of the setting and that ritual that my enemy does. I was curious about some certain things, and I wanted to get them cleared up out of my head because they were bothering me for a long time. They were coming back to my mind over and over again, telling me, try this, you need to see how this is first. No, do this later, it's not important, you'll waste the money. I was stuck between those two battles for a long time. So by coming up here today, I relieved myself of that worry, of that thing that was bothering me, which is a part of this maze to put you through that, to make you hesitant about which way you want to take because of the tightness that's on you economically, psychologically, and emotionally. There's a certain science being applied to make you feel tight and uncomfortable. So you get stuck between making decisions, and the longer the better because your energy is being depleted and you're not getting anywhere. You're in the middle, you're not selecting whether you want A or B. So this is why I came up here today. I got something really important out of the way, which is going to give me a lot more relief, which is going to help me quit cigarettes. If I didn't come here today, I would have spent the money on cigarettes throughout this month, and I wouldn't have benefited from this. Now, this way, it helps me push me forward to get rid of the smokes and get this worry out of my head that was bothering me for the longest time. This anxiety to find out if I would do this, what elements would I pick up from what's being done to me in order to take them, benefit from them, and use them in my battle to come out of this prison faster. So that's pretty much it, guys. I'm just lying down here getting some sun on the floor. Probably all the ants are all over my face by now. I don't care. They could bite me too. Their bites aren't as poisonous as these bites that I'm getting from these ritualistic human, so-called human beings that have joined the satanic Freemasonic entity to pull rituals on the human beings in society that were their kings and queens 100 years ago. Maybe not that far, but something along those lines at least. You know, Princess Diana was killed for a reason. A lot of actors that commit suicide or mysteriously die of a drug overdose. It's not always the truth. Sometimes it is, but not always. It's always this hidden knowledge and information that they pick up on that because of their standing, because of who they are, because they can alert the public, they're famous, they get killed. Now, a guy like me, I'm being let go of right now. This information, if I'm famous enough to let it out, I would have been killed a long time ago. But because it's not threatening to them, because I'm still locked up in their maze, I can't transmit this information to anyone. So these people came up here today. They don't live in this town. They replaced the normal people, and they're applying their rituals on me by pretending they live here and they're hanging out by the lake and screaming with their kids all day long when I look at them. I mean, this is the ritual, guys. Now that I'm lying down, relaxing, noise there and there. If I go somewhere else, I'll get other people to make noise. They situate them in the whole city in strategic places for me not to be able to get away for 1 second, sit in a place and have peace. They're situated all over the city strategically to cover every single 20, 30 meter square with appliances, noise, and everything else. So I don't get the chance to relax and have peace. I'm spending time in front of the lake and I'm irritated. How is that possible? How? You tell me. I don't feel good. Why don't I feel good sitting here? Why am I irritated? From all the noise that's being implemented on me. Why would a human being spend $175 to come up here, sit in front of the lake and feel like shit? Why? Listen to what's happening around me. Listen to the abuse. I run away from them. I ran away from the geese. I come here, I get the boat, and they talk. Listen, watch. I'm running away from one area to another. I get another group of people to apply the tactics. While I was sitting there, this group wasn't saying shit. As soon as I came here, now they want to talk loud. Listen to the abuse. Why would a guy come up and sit here and feel like shit and get stressed out? Why else? Who screams like that? They're not human beings anymore. Whatever technology they're applying to them, they're turning into their machines now. Why would they want to make me buy a bus ticket that's cheaper than taking a cab down? Because a bus ticket will lock me up here all day, and on the way down, the bus is not going to stop at certain areas that in a taxi, I could have stopped at all those areas, so they had to fill them up with people. So on the way down, taking a cab, I could stop at Aurelia, right? They don't want to have to work in Aurelia, so they lock me up. They make me pay $50 for a bus that will go straight downtown, and in the bus, they could abuse me more than in the cab. In the cab, I can tell the cab driver to shut up, and he will. Don't make noise. But in the bus, I can't tell 100 people to shut up when they're designed, every single one of them, every 5 seconds, to sneeze, cough, or talk. That's why they have a variety of elements, because you can't pinpoint one and accuse that person with. That's how this maze is designed. They don't shut up from the right and the left. Now let's go somewhere else. Watch what's going to happen to me. Let's get away from them. Watch. If there's nobody there then, in a couple of minutes, somebody will start coming. Now, the beetle. Listen.